Hello. All right. So I can't believe that that leak was true. That they were, yeah, they're announcing it today after all the millions of leaks. Manners stream, we out here, boys. Gino, welcome back. Welcome to the Strizium. We're here. Nintendo Switch 2 first look trailer. I'm gonna give y'all some time to spread all in. I know Twitch notifications take a little while. I'm pretty excited. I really am. Make myself look a little bigger. I am pretty excited. I don't know if y'all knew this, but I am a Nintendo fan. Never would have guessed, right? I love my Switch so much. I don't think I'll get the Switch too. I will say, you a Nintendo fan since when? Yeah, for real. Uh, no, I thought you were a Sega fan. True, dude. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So I've been a Nintendo fan my entire life. My console of choice growing up all the time. Even though my first console was a PS2. Pretty shocking, actually. Whenever I think about it, like it's kind of crazy that I started with PS2 and I loved the PS2. I did love it, but then like Nintendo just took me over. I don't even know why. Maybe it's just because of the DS, right? And the Game Boy. That might be it. That might be it. Put Cappy on right now. For real, where's Cappy at? Hold on. I need Cappy, bruh. I'm throwing. All right. We are here. We are here. Ah. Wouldn't it be great if we saw a new 3D Mario game? I don't know if they're going to show games. I'm just referring to the old Switch trailer. The old Switch trailer showed us Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, Skyrim. I like how Skyrim was like one of the biggest deals on the Nintendo Switch. It's funny how long ago the Switch came out. What year was that when the Switch came out? 2018? That's crazy. Suppose man, it's a Nintendo Switch 2. For real. Hey, Nintendo did not make that a secret. It said Nintendo Switch 2 in the YouTube video. In the YouTube video title. It's like Nintendo Switch, but better. I've heard in leaks, people like found the motherboard, right? And they said that it's gonna be as strong as the PS4. Or like stronger than the PS4, which is honestly amazing for Nintendo. It really is. Like a portable uh console that is more powerful than the PS4. That's pretty awesome, you know? I'll always say shout outs to the PS5. I mean, I have a PS5. For being so powerful, right? And I love the games that I've played on it so far, but because it's so powerful, people barely ever make games for it. So like I don't really care that much. Like I care about the games, you know what I mean? And the games I have played for PS5 are great, don't get me wrong, but like if that sacrifices a wider variety of quality games, then, you know, I don't care. Like I don't need a omega powerful console if it's going to lack in games, you know. PS4 is perfect though, I feel like. That's more than I would have expected from Nintendo, honestly. If that's true. Never saw this coming. An alarm for 8:55 a.m. And they actually did when the trailer dropped. The title was a Nintendo update. 8:10 a.m. I felt like a disturbance. I felt a disturbance. That's so funny. Yeah, I saw an Arlo video about it. He was like, "Yeah, on Thursday they could announce it, and here we are." You know, so that's pretty cool. And the trailer dropped. The title was Nintendo update. Oh, really? Well, there you go. Oh, is there like a video outside of this that we could react to? This is just a 2-minute. Like, is there like a Nintendo update thing? Because I'd rather watch that. No, it's just this. Oh, okay. It is just this. Okay. I need my Switch to run PS4 games. I just mean like in terms of like the power of the console, that will help a lot. Because even the Nintendo games can chug a little bit, you know? The Switch is underpowered. It is what it is. No update when they retitled it to Switch 2 a bit later. I see. Okay, cool. I am glad that it's Switch 2. Spoiler alert. I'm glad that it is. And not some weird name like Switch U. Bro, Wii U was like one of the worst titles they could have picked. It's so unobvious what it is. It didn't even like so many people, like parents and stuff, they didn't realize that, you know, it was a new console because the name was so weird. They thought it was like a 3DS XL, you know what I mean? Like an alternate version of the Wii. You know, it's not obvious enough that it's a brand new console, you know? I'm also glad they learned from the Wii U. It was a mistake. Yeah. So thank God, you know? I mean, like, the Switch was super popular. People love the Switch. The novelty, I feel like the novelty of the Switch, it has been worn off. It's a shame. The I'm gonna start the video here in a second, but I just figured may as well talk about the Switch for a little bit. The novelty of the Switch, I still think is very relevant. You know, I think people have forgotten, but like, think about like the times where you're playing your Switch like on the TV, and then like you gotta go take a dump, or you gotta go somewhere, or hey, you want to just lie in bed, but you want to play on the bed. You know, you just pick up your Switch, continue the game right there. That's it. That novelty is still really amazing. It really is. And that's why I love about the Switch. Even if you aren't bringing your Switch all over the place, like playing portably, just the ability to go take a dump and play your Switch, all right? Like, I don't know, that novelty is really good. I think that, granted, you know, Switch came out a long time ago. I'm pretty sure it was 2018. Now it's especially underpowered. At the time, when it first came out, its power was like impressive, especially for a well, okay, it was impressive for a portable console. It was never impressive for a home console. Don't get it twisted. But it was impressive for what it was able to do. It's just, you know, as the years went on and, you know, PS5 came out and everything, yeah, it showed that it was old tech, you know. So if this really is as powerful as a PS4, I think that'd be amazing. I think that'd be great. Switch 2 is a boring name, but it's effective. Nintendo sometimes does fancy things that isn't effective. I'm glad they learned that boring is okay. I agree, Turt. I absolutely agree. Let me get the chat on the screen. Because I might do a little, I might even make this into a video. There we go. Cool. Okay. We use a separate console? Crazy. My parents thought it was a Wii when I asked for it for Christmas in 2013. Exactly. Like, I know us gamers get that it's a different console, right? But parents aren't gonna freaking know that crap, you know? So like Nintendo has to be more obvious. Like even if it is a boring name, it's very obvious a PlayStation 2 is the sequel to the PlayStation, you know? PS3 is the sequel to the PS2, you know? Like it works. Xbox also has dumbass names. Xbox 360, Xbox Xbox Series 1, Xbox One. Wait, why is the Xbox One after the 360? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let me stop. I had to explain it to them like it was that one Mario 3D World commercial. Yeah, for real. That commercial's so funny. I don't see myself buying a Switch 2. I might run ads actually right now. So that way, while we watch the video, y'all are not going to be ad broken. Let's do that. Can I run ads right now? Or I might have just auto ran it. Yeah, I just auto ran it, so we're good. I'll just wait until the ad runs out so that way we can all watch it together. Alright. I don't see myself buying a Switch 2. Wall gets it. I see myself hopping on day one, honestly. Yeah, I will. I just need to see if they'll update Xenoblade games. I love Nintendo games too much to not get a Switch 2. And it's funny because I don't even play my Switch that much anymore. The last time I really played a game on my Switch, besides co-op games and like Smash and stuff, is Thousand Year Door when I streamed that. And I loved that game. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. Right, 1,000 Year Door is my second favorite video game of all time. But that was a while ago, right? I don't play it that much. I don't play my PS5 either, though. To be fair, it's more so just that I think the older you get, the more you kind of transition to PC. It is what it is, I think that's most people. Most people, when you're younger, you stick to consoles, and when you get older, you switch to PC. Which is already outdated on release. Yeah, as a home console, is already outdated, but the novelty was always really impressive. It really was. So we used success and said, yeah, let's go with Switch 2. This day, I thought it was just a Wii with a gamepad manner. PS4 is 12 or 13 years old, though. That's fine. The power is good enough, for me at least, and for Nintendo fans. If you make a new console, get it at least PS5. See, now, Silence, you're not getting it, all right? Silence, you're not understanding. See, now, PS5, that's ridiculous. That is just a crazy take. Like, it's funny, because, like, for an Xbox, that instantly makes sense. For Nintendo, that is the dumbest decision you could ever make. Why would you ever do that? It's funny. Like, because, well, first of all, they would absolutely just need to make it a home console, right? And I actually think that's a dumb idea. Like, if they made a home console, it's a dumb idea. It actually is. They would actually be losing money if they made a home console now. This gimmick is so smart because it's perfect for kids. It's good for adults who don't want to go out and just play on their home console, right? They want to play their Nintendo games at home. It's actually just perfect. It's a win-win, right? It's appealing to both kids and to adults at the same time, right? Adults typically don't play portable consoles. I don't either, not anymore. But now they're appealing to both audiences with this. It's honestly a genius console. That's why it sold so much. What, isn't the Switch like the third most selling console of all time? Crazy. Got a pre-roll Yee. This Tertiary guy seems pretty toxic, man. Not gonna lie, making me uncomfortable. True. A Switch game I played day one was like Mario Wonder, I think. I did buy a couple games. I don't play Switch much anymore either, so I don't know when I'll get a Switch 2, but I'll definitely get one because I feel like I need to get a new Switch soon otherwise. Oh yeah, I really hope it has cross compatibility with the other Switch. If it doesn't have cross compatibility, that is something that would maybe make me not get the Switch 2, because that'd be really annoying because I have a lot of Switch games. The build PC is stronger than PS5 Pro that are as small as the Switch. I have a Mario RPG and Mario and Luigi, but I haven't gotten around to them yet. I've heard Mario and Luigi is kind of disappointing. Mario RPG was fire though. I love that game. Nintendo doesn't focus on power. Nintendo focuses on the games. That's the thing that the other consoles don't have. Yeah, exactly. Nintendo has the games, right? So by making the console less powerful, more people are going to, be able to make games that push its console to its limits, right? People to this day do not make PS5 level games. All the PS5, most of the PS5 games are also PS4 games. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reasoning for that. Because, game creators can't keep up. Let your games run decent and not on 10 FPS. Well, yeah, PS4 will do that. That's why I'm excited if it is PS4. That's a massive upgrade to what the Switch is. You gotta understand, the Switch was like PS3. That's massive. That is a massive upgrade. Breath of the Wild feels on an emulator than PC. Yes, but again, you're not understanding the cross. We could talk more about this after the trailer, but you're not understanding the novelty of being portable and how that's so impactful for gamers as a whole, right? To kids and even to older, to adults, right? It fills both shoes, right? Like, imagine for a second if Breath of the Wild was only released on a portable console. How many people would not play Breath of the Wild if the Nintendo Switch was only a portable console? So many people would not have played it. Think about that for a second. Because I think you're comparing it too much to the other home consoles. You have to remember it's a hybrid, right? If it was just a portable console, so many less people would have played Breath of the Wild. Okay. Release a console. It sucks when games already run on the limit and console on the release. Breath of the Wild was already at the limit, but Breath of the Wild ran great. It actually did. I think Breath of the Wild's actually a bad example, though, Silence. I think on the Switch, Breath of the Wild ran kind of fantastically. I really did not notice many issues at all with Breath of the Wild. Not really. I think, like, the grass sometimes would stutter a little bit, but it's really not that bad. It's not noticeable. Not like Scarlet and Violet. Or even Legends Arceus. And Legends Arceus wasn't that bad either, but yeah. So yeah, let's freaking watch the video. I feel like I'm gonna run one more ad break just so that way y'all don't get distracted. I don't know exactly how long it lasts. Like this console isn't called Switcheroo is basically a throw. I could have seen Nintendo doing that. I'm running one more ad break just in case. I actually don't even know. I barely ever run ads myself. But that's probably the smart thing to do. Tablet, the dock, keeping it cheap is hard. Yeah, for real. Yeah, no, but Silence, you're thinking too much of how much of a gamer you are, right? You are too much of a hardcore gamer, right? Well, I say hardcore pretty loosely, but I mean, like, you care about the power, right? When you focus on the games, the ability to be portable is so massive for the younger audience, right? Or even people that have to travel a lot. You know, I know adults that, you know, they get on the plane and they want to play something. Hell, when I go on the plane, I bring my Switch. That's kind of mainly the only time where I really play portably. But even the novelty is super great, right? Like, I'm playing Minecraft with Andrea on Switch. And, like, I made this, like, AFK skeleton farm, right? But I don't want to, like, keep on checking on my TV in the other room because, you know, you have to move a little bit to stay AFK, right? For it to not, like, get off the server. So what I can do instead is I can sit right here at my computer and have my Switch right here, right? And I could just, like, move a little bit every now and then. That novelty is huge, right? It could just chill in front of me. I don't need to run all the way to my TV. That novelty actually is huge, even for someone like me. From Nintendo Switch with me to Japan. We played Smash and Mario Kart in the hotel. You can't do this. Exactly. And you can do that. You know what? Oh, one of my favorite things I ever did is we would bring our Switch to play Smash at school, right? In high school. People would bring their Switches and we'd play Smash at like PE or whatever. It was great. It was honestly great. And it worked well. Like, hell, Smash is a perfect example of a game that runs great. Whole ass fighting game on the portable console. And even though the controllers suck, which I'm sure we're about to see are a lot better now, it's still playable, right? Those Joy-Cons did suck on the sideways, but they were playable. You're playing basically I think it's technically not HD when it's in portable mode, but you're still playing like a high quality game portably, competitively against another person or more people, you know? Console isn't called, but yeah. I see the problem is that they can't make games how they want them to be because they're limited by low performance. I've got a friend who works there and he complains about that all the time. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think PS4 is enough. What game will struggle with PS4 quality? Right? What game? Because Nintendo was never going to make a PS5 level game no matter what. You know what I mean? PS4 quality is more than enough. People on PS5 are not making games past PS4 right now. There's like how many PS5 specific games? Like 10? And the PS5's been out for a while. But yeah, anyway, let's watch the freaking video already. Boom. I'm excited. Very slick. Oh, so much better of a kickstand. Oh, that's great. That's amazing. The kickstand in the original Switch model was terrible. Bigger Joy-Cons, that's good. We have a sticky gel, so that way you really feel sticky when you're playing. Oh my god, those buttons are amazing. Chat, if you know, you know, but goddamn, man. Look at these buttons. Oh my god. This is massive. I've already seen this in leaks, albeit, but like, goddamn, dude. Fudge. This is massive. This is actually massive. I need y'all to understand. I just brought up the Smash point about like playing Smash at school or whatever, or anywhere with other people. With this, now the Joy-Cons are actually so much better to play out. Like the triggers were the biggest issue. They just were. It's not the buttons. It's not anything like that's not the issue. The issue is the triggers on the Joy-Cons were way too small. You had to like play like with claw hands. But now the Joy-Cons themselves are bigger. And the triggers are bigger. Now you could probably hold it a little bit more normal, right? And actually like be able to press the button without claw handing like this. That's massive. You can use it like a mouse. I wonder if that's true, actually. Ooh. Okay, so it snaps in now. This is good, because so already we're seeing... This is what I like about this so far. This is different than other consoles, because the Switch, even as a portable console, had issues, right? It was the first time doing it. What I like about this trailer is that it's showing us all the issues the original Switch had that the Switch 2 is improving on. The small ass claw hand triggers on the Joy-Cons is a massive issue of the Switch 1. The kickstand of the original Switch model is a major issue. Granted, they did fix the kickstand on the Switch OLED, but still, like, you know, a lot of people didn't get the OLED, right? So they're showing off, hey, the kickstand's a lot better on this too. That's another massive issue. And they show that there's two before, and hell, these buttons look better. The power and volume buttons are better. Yes, there is a second USB-C port. There are two USB-C ports on this thing. One at the top and one at the bottom. Before, there was only one USB-C port on the bottom. So it was really awkward when you're playing portably because you'd have to plug it in at the bottom and then it's kind of jamming into like your stomach or whatever. But now that there's one on the top and the bottom, because they need the one at the bottom, so that way when you slide the Switch in, that's how it's, you know, operating, right? It plugs into the dock. So they have a second one at the top, so that way when you want to play portably with it still plugged in, you just put it in the top. Genius. Right? Like, these are little issues that are annoying about the Switch, but nobody would have asked to change it because it wasn't that relevant. But the fact that they are fixing it here, it shows they're really listening, right? You know? They made the controllers bigger. People said the controllers were baby controllers, right? I wonder what that button is below the home button. I actually don't know. The sync button also looks better. Thank God. The sync button on the Joy-Cons were freaking way too small. Wonder if this is a Joy-Con drift issue? Yeah. I wonder if that's really what they're doing here. Are they actually trying to use it like a mouse? It's the optical sensor on the Joy-Con rail. Nintendo Switch, but we fixed everything. Yeah, literally. I mean, this seems like a perfect console already as an upgrade. Yeah, optical sensor, I see it. Yeah, and that's another issue, right? Look at this. It's snapping in. How many people do you know that had the first model Switch that broke their freaking railings on the thing, right? They broke the railings of the Switch. You know? So now you snap it in, right? I'll be honest, I dropped my Switch one time because of the railings, right? So now this doesn't have that issue anymore. Rail broke clean off. Exactly. So now, you know, that's a lot less likely to happen, right? Switch 2. Looks great. Really looks great. It really looks like they fixed all the issues, like, of the console itself. Is this a new Mario Kart or is this Mario Kart 8? This is a new Mario Kart. That is a freaking new Mario Kart, ladies and gentlemen. We've had Mario Kart 8 for 15 years. And now, a new Mario Kart. I'm looking at Mario. That is a new Mario model, ladies and gentlemen. That is a new Mario Kart. $11 years, but actually, who's counting? Yeah, for real. Oh, wow. Wow. That's slick. Definitely a new Mario Kart, by the way. Look at the little freaking Yoshi in the... Oh, my God. All they showed was Mario Kart. Plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch. Thank God, dude. This is all I wanted. I would have been pissed off if they did not do this. I have a huge backlog of Switch games. If they did not allow me to... Wait. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported or unfully compatible with Switch 2. Hopefully it's not too many. That would suck. Where this becomes a massive issue is the Pokemon games. Because the Pokemon games are some of the most popular games that that do not offer cloud save, right? So like if people want to play their Pokemon games on their new Switch 2, like let's say they play competitive or whatever, they're still playing the game, or shiny hunting or whatever, they want to play on their Switch 2, but they can't because they can't transfer their save. That's honestly a huge bummer for players like that. But for most games, you know, freaking that's an issue of Pokemon, it's not an issue of Nintendo Switch. You can still transfer your save from Switch to Switch. Yeah, but it doesn't work for Pokemon. Pokemon's really dumb like that. I think they did the same thing for Splatoon, actually. Yes, it does. Does it? I don't think so. God damn! That's not even that long from now. That's crazy. Wow. That is close. That's crazy. That's exciting. All right. We don't see many games though, just the new Mario Kart, right? Obviously it looks similar to Mario Kart 8. But it definitely, like, trust me, this is a new Mario Kart. This is not Mario Kart 8. I've seen Mario and Mario Kart 8 so long to know that this is a different Mario model. Still wouldn't be outside Switch 2. Aside from Mario Kart 8 2. Movie Donkey Kong in the game. Wait, was it? Movie Donkey Kong? Oh my god, I see it. Wait. Oh god, it's really hard to tell, but I think I see the eyes. I can't believe you caught that. What the hell? Oh, look at the TV. I see. Yeah, look at him. The eyes. That's crazy. Yeah, they've been using that, like, the Donkey Kong model from in Mario Kart 8 for ages. Yeah, I mean, this is a new map, too. I don't think this is from any other Mario Kart game. Frickin' Yoshi's Burgers. 24 player Mario Kart. Ooh, there's 24 players. Are you serious? I didn't even see that. Yeah, I wish there was more games for us to dissect. That does worry me a little bit, though. If they only showed off Mario Kart, are there not that many launch games? I theorize Metroid Prime 2 is a launch game, or at least close to launch. But then again, maybe not, right? I mean, this is coming out pretty soon. I hope Legend ZA is also Switch 2. We haven't been confirmed or denied on that one. But to be fair, I mean, you could play Switch games on Switch 2, so it'll just run better on Switch 2, I'm sure. But, like, still. We can't see behind your face cam. Yeah, Donkey Kong's there, yeah, with the eyes. That's pretty good, though. I am pretty impressed. Okay, so this is coming from somebody who is a Nintendo fan. All right, listen. Obviously we can't see if the power stuff we've seen in the leaks is true about it being as powerful, like more powerful than PS4. But if that is true, then that is more than enough power. More than enough power for the Switch. Hell, I've even seen people say that that's stronger than the Steam Deck, right? Like, it being stronger than the Steam Deck's pretty good. And obviously this has better battery life than that as well. Like for Mario Kart and nothing else. Legend ZA, also the check is called Mario Bros. Circuit. I see. Analyze the frick out of it, yeah. Such Dolphin's reaction to this, and they're hating on it. So funny to see you two have such different reactions. I wonder what Dolphin hated about it. So the 2 looks a bit goofy. I guess. Well, as somebody who like is a Nintendo fan, I can notice that they're fixing literally every single issue of the Switch. I think literally every single thing that was an issue, they fixed about the console as a portable console. And granted, we can obviously assume it'll be more powerful. Obviously, the major issue of the Switch is that it's old. It's old tech, right? So it's not powerful. So we can assume it's going to be more powerful. Even if it isn't stronger than PS4, we can assume that it's more powerful, right? So that's not an issue. We have to talk about, it's the reasons, the things that make it a better portable console. And that's what it's doing. The USB-C port, better buttons all across the board. It's so crazy. We've never seen a portable console that has two USB-Cs, but yeah. Would Scarlet Violet run better on it? It will, but Scarlet Violet will always look bad no matter what console it's on. You can't fix ugly textures and stuff, I don't even know if the pop-in will be better, but I'm not as technology savvy to know about that, so. Yeah, I really wonder what this button is. I actually don't know. Is this still the screenshot button, home button? Yeah. Looks great. It really does. The triggers look much nicer to click. Goo. Scarlet Violet is beyond 7, yeah, for real. Now, Scarlet Violet's just gonna take the L. Legend ZA could probably run good. Probably run good when that comes out. One game is that so many devs are just chasing hyper-realism. Yeah, I agree, Collectathon, actually. I think Nintendo doing their own thing is the smartest decision. Again, you can't fight the results. Nintendo Switch is the 3rd most selling video game console of all time. You cannot fight results. They go for the gimmick and they sold way more than the PS5. Way more. So, what is there to fight, Nothing can save the Pokemon franchise, kind of true. Actually, no. Pokemon can save itself. Pokemon Legends Arceus was a breath of fresh air, alright? Legends ZA could still bring it back, maybe. It's a shame that Scarlet and Violet was in the same development cycle as Legends Arceus, so they didn't take a lot of what made that game great. But yeah, Legends Arceus made me believe in Game Freak again, and then Scarlet and Violet kind of tore it back down. I still think you're easy to satisfy. They deserve critique. Well, okay. What is there to critique here? I will critique things that I like. Like I've already said, the power is going to be improved. So what is there to critique? I feel like it just looks better. Should be a Switch Pro, but not a new release. It's going to be way more powerful, Silence. That's a console that is for years to stand. I don't think you understand the difference in power that we're talking about. If this is above PS4 and the old Switch was like maybe even below PS3, it's a massive difference in power. If it was a Switch, you got to think about the context, right? If it was a Switch Pro, then Switch Pro games would have to be runnable on the original Switch, right? That's confusing consumers, you know? The consumers need to know that this game can only be run on the new Switch, not the old Switch. By doing Switch 2, you could release Switch 2 games, and still you could release regular Switch games, by the way. And they probably will, right? They'll probably still release like indie games and stuff like that for the Switch that can be played on Switch 2, right? But new games that need the extra processing power of the Switch 2, they need to advertise that as, hey, this is a Switch 2 game. That'd be like imagine if PlayStation made, like back when they made the PS2, if they made a PlayStation 1 Pro, but then, you know, you can only run Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation Pro, but not the PlayStation. That's going to confuse parents and stuff. But if it's the Switch 2, it's more obvious, right? The way more powerful is already behind. Well, I mean, again, we haven't seen the power yet. Obviously, I will critique the power if it's not... If it is below PS4... Again, I'm flat out satisfied with above PS4. Even at PS4 level. That's more than Nintendo needs. Again, it doesn't matter because PS5 cannot even make use of its power. You know what I mean? Oh, great. PS5 is above the curve for what? Like 5 games? Like, who cares? You know? Even the greatest game that I played on PS5, God of War Ragnarok, is a PS4 game. That's the greatest game on there that I've played, and it's a PS4 game. You know what I mean? Like, PS4 is more than enough. If I can play a game as good as God of War Ragnarok on Switch 2, that is more than enough. You know what I mean? I don't need anything crazier than that. Games can be fun with PS4 level. My critique is that it should have been called the Nintendo Snap. I am honestly glad they went for 2 because we know how the Wii U went. Give it a simple name, you know? The way more powerful is already behind. PlayStation PS4 is really old as well. Switch Pro should have released at least 3 years ago. Yeah, probably. But, you know, I mean, in order to not confuse consumers, I think a Switch Pro would have been way too confusing. Because for them to release games that work both on Switch and Switch 2, the games would still lack, you know? Or if they were to release a game that say, hey, this only works on Switch Pro, then that's confusing to consumers. And it's annoying to parents, right? Because they'll buy a Switch Pro game that does not work on Switch, and then they go, oh, well, you have a Switch. How was I supposed to know? Switch 2 is much more obvious, right? Oh, you need the Switch 2 to play the Switch 2 game, right? Arguing hard when I just want the games. Yeah, for real. I'm the same way, Gino. I think difference between DS and 3DS. They look the same at first glance, but 3DS is so much better. Oh, yeah, for sure. It doesn't need too much power, just more than it had. It'll have enough now for everything it needs, hopefully. Well, it will, again. Okay, yeah, to be fair, it is hopefully, right? We still have not seen guaranteed that it's stronger than PS4. But if it is stronger than PS4, or even at the level of PS4, expect to have God of War Ragnarok level games, and Elden Ring, and anything at that level on this console to run perfectly. There is nothing. Oh, by the way, I should mention, I'm talking PS4 undocked. I forgot to mention that. The leak said that the Switch 2 is more powerful than a PS4 base undocked. And while docked, it's as strong as a PS4 Pro. All right? I'm just saying. That's pretty freaking good. We're talking God of War Ragnarok. Bro, it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. Elden Ring was awful on PS4? Well, I don't know. God of War was great on PS4. That's a beautiful game. But like Kid Icarus Uprising HD, but with mouse controls with the optical sensor. Hold on. New engines already have problems with PS4 specs. Better yet, not attached to the Switch. Okay, but okay, for real though, let's talk about it, right? What are the critiques you have of the console? Because I love to critique, right? I make fun of everything. Like on Variety Wednesdays, I ragged into games people love. So let's talk about it. What is there to complain here? Like, we can't talk about the power, obviously, because we don't know for sure. Going based off the leaks, I'd say it's pretty definitively a positive thing, right? Like, if I was to choose between having a console that's stronger than the PS5, that stays as a home console, or this, which is a little stronger than a PS4 Pro in docked and PS4 undocked, I'd pick this easily. The novelty of portability is legitimately that strong. And it will make it sell way bigger, which will mean more people are playing the games, which will mean more co-op and, more people could play the console. More people could play with me. There you go. It's a win-win. I'd pick this every day. Because the extra power is barely going to make a difference, obviously. Because games aren't releasing on consoles that powerful. Switch name is the right call. Yeah, I think the Switch name is the perfect call. We've already learned from the Wii U. I see it from the side of people who create games. There's a name article. They don't need to start with a Square One or a new name. You think of the PS5 too highly. PS5 stats also already suck in comparison to your PC, for example. Okay, we're talking about video game consoles. We all know we all know PC is stronger than everything. All right, that's not a comparison. As somebody who does have a PC much stronger than the PS5, it doesn't matter because I don't play games that are that strong. I legitimately am pretty sure the strongest powerful game I've played on my PC is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Like, that's it. Like, what games are there that need that much processing power? There is not a game, at least I don't think that there are not that many games that need that much processing power, Nintendo Click starring Adam Sandler. Just make it something similar, like Nintendo, but certainly it is still easy to emulate, and that PS4 emulation is starting to be a thing. Switch 2 is rumored to have DLSS, which is huge. DLSS is frame generation IC. On Switch 2, let's go. I get new wings. Look at the stick. It's far too dark. For starters, it's far too dark. Oh, well, I'm sure there will be different color variations. I mean, look, even at the very beginning of the, what's it called? I'm sure we're going to get, like, customized Switches and stuff, right? We're going to get, like, Joy-Cons and stuff that are different colors. Like, I mean, look, this is just one of many Nintendo Switch models, right? The colored Joy-Cons. But I got the black Joy-Cons, for example, right? Or the gray. I guess they're gray Joy-Cons. But then they released a bunch of different Joy-Cons, right? I'm sure they'll be the same thing for Switch 2. And, like, the actual, console itself. The reason why they decorate the Joy-Cons and not the Switch itself is because when it's in docked mode, you don't see the console, so like who cares? They also release other docks. My complaints are only about possible power. See, like, and that's irrelevant right now because we don't know, right? For all we know, it's more than PS5, which it won't be, but it won't be. I would argue that's honestly a throw. Well, okay, no, it's not a throw. I mean, if they do it, they do it. That's great. But, like, it won't be. Because that would sacrifice battery life as well, you know? Like, everything's a balancing act, you know? In order for it to be, like, if it really was that powerful, then it would die in, like, 1 hour. You know what I mean? Like, it's a balancing act. Again, I'd sacrifice the extra power for more battery life at that point. I don't even know if a console that powerful is realistic anyway to sell. Like, portably. Most of the color from Switch 1 got sucked up. Again, there will probably be alternate colors. I mean, hell, wait. Yeah, okay, so to be fair, okay, this is probably where the models come in, right? Blue and red, just like the original Switch, right? This is red and blue for the different Joy-Cons, which is actually kind of cool, right? Because the idea behind the blue and red Joy-Cons is that, oh, hey, you have the red controller, I have the blue one, and then you're playing co-op, right? And they're doing the same thing here, which is actually kind of interesting. And then I feel like this looks more slick. I think before it looked a little too childish. Like, this looks pretty childish, right? It's just like big red and blue Joy-Cons, right? I think this looks a lot more slick, right? Just like little like streaks and stuff, you know? I think that's better. Personally. Obviously, that's a personal opinion. But I just think it looks better. And again, keep in mind that this is probably just like one iteration of it. There will be many more. PS5 stats, Switch size, console for nearly the same price. That's all I mean. I only ever had gray Joy-Cons, so this is fine with me. Yeah, for real, me too. Remember that they didn't show the red and blue Joy-Con until the Switch presentation. We only had gray Joy-Con until then. Oh, how about that? Consoles should probably stop relying on more power and instead try to create consoles with unique mechanics that aren't available to be replicated on PC. Exactly. I mean, this is exactly what you're saying, Silence, right? Silence is comparing Switch to PC. He's comparing PS5 to PC. Consoles will never be able to keep up with PC. They just won't. The point of consoles is that they're simpler, they are more affordable, right? If everybody could afford the PC, they would. Kids would get PCs all over the place. They can't afford it. PCs are way more expensive. Consoles are meant to be a more affordable, simpler thing to get for parents to buy their kids at the end of the day, right? It just so happens Nintendo's in a unique scenario because Nintendo never puts their, their games on other consoles. So obviously I'm going to be more excited about a Nintendo console than a PlayStation console because most PlayStation games nowadays get ported to PC anyway. But Nintendo, I'm going to care a lot about how the console turns out, you know? Because it's the only place for me to play my Nintendo games. Hence the Mario hat. Doing the base Switch 2, we didn't rely on different Joy-Cons to add color to Switch 1. Real kickstand and top charging port are huge. That's all I need. Yeah, for real. Like, again, and like Turt said, with that, those are massive changes. Again, the port thing is such a small thing that was annoying about the Switch 1. The fact that they fixed that, though, they're listening, you know? Like, of course I'm going to be positive about it. They listened. The rails broke. The freaking buttons were small in Switch 1. Now they're huge. Like, actually huge. Like, you could definitely play, like, with these. Now, granted, obviously, it's still better to have an actual freaking controller. But it's the context, right? You're going to school, you're going to college, you're going wherever, on a plane with your friend, going to freaking Japan or something. You put the Switch, like you're sitting next to your friend on the airplane seat, put it down, you're both playing Smash. I've done that with my Switch. I played Puyo Puyo Tetris, even with my mom, right? And we're playing with the Joy-Cons. And it's annoying, but we deal with it, right? Even with the claw hand triggers, because it's fun to be able to play co-op with somebody portably off of one console, you know? Back in the DS, like this is something, like back in the DS games, you'd have to have two DSs and play over DS wireless play. With the Switch, you just need one console. One console, and you both get to play off of that one console. Portably. It's genius. It actually is. It is a genius idea. So then they are enhancing the ability of that, you know? I still play like that to this day. Like when I go on the airplane, I'll play with whoever I'm traveling with. It's fun. Sync button's bigger. There are even games that, like now you can use optical sensor for mouse gameplay. I remember, what's it called? I don't remember the game, but I can think of one game that mouse control would have been really good for. Well, there's many games that mouse control would be great for. I mean, legitimately, I really don't have any issues. Trust me, I would complain if I could complain. I love to complain. They fixed the railing issue. The Switch as a whole is bigger. Yeah, I'm actually looking for stuff that I don't like. I guess, okay, here's one. This kickstand, I actually think is still worse than the OLED. Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay. This kickstand looks thin. Looks very thin and flimsy. Granted, it's still way better than the original Switch. The original Switch had one flimsy little thing that would break way too easily on one side, so it was uneven. It was terrible. It was actually terrible. This is way better than that. It's definitely way better than the base Switch model. But considering this is post OLED, look at this. This is the Tears of the Kingdom OLED Switch, by the way. By the way, this is what I was saying. Like the Joy-Cons look a lot better, right? Like, you know, good design, right? But yeah, so on the OLED, they have this kickstand, which is really nice. It's thick. Like it looks thick. It's kind of probably a little hard to see on the camera. And it goes all the way across, right? It's thick, so it's sturdy. So when you put it down, it's just easy to. Okay, so like you have this on the plane and you play, right, or wherever, or in the car ride or anything, and then you freaking run up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and look, since I have my Switch now, I may as well showcase. So you deal with this to play portably with friends. You deal with your claw hand, right? And you know, especially for an adult like myself who has bigger hands, you know, it's awkward to hold a controller like this. The controller itself is bigger, so it will fill up more in my hand. I guess I can kind of try to emulate it, so it's probably more like this. And this already feels better, right? Because the controller is bigger, right? I'm assuming that the controller will fill up my hand more. And the buttons are annoying to press because they're so small, right? Look how small these buttons are. They're tiny, right? And the sync button is also, you know, whatever. They're tiny buttons. So with the buttons literally like 3 times the width, that's a big improvement, you know? Like these are issues that, you know, were actual issues, you know? And they're fixing that. Yeah, pretty great. So yeah, I think if I had to pick one nitpick, it's that the kickstand still looks a little flimsy. Granted, at least it's going across the entire system. Thank God. I would have preferred they went for the more sturdy option like this. I really like the kickstand on this. I've played a lot with this, like on the plane or whatever. It's really good, really really good. Yeah, so then they got rid of the railing system. I will say it's probably not as satisfying to snap it on, but like come on, how nostalgic is it the Switch? Yeah, you know. But yeah, pretty great. Real kickstand, top charging ports. Yeah. Switch 2 is PS6 levels of power. Yeah, for real. And there'd be no games. Because everything with even a shred of personality is childish. Yeah, for real. Even with the Switch OLED, it was just white for the real. They had red and blue. think highlights give it more personality than full color. Yeah, I agree. I actually think the highlights are much more personality, personally. I think it looks a lot nicer. I don't think it's bland at all. I think it looks cooler. Obviously, that's a matter of opinion, but, you know, I think this looks cooler, just flat out. Like, yeah, like when you take out the Joy-Con, I mean, granted, this is a bit unfair because I have the cool-ass Tears of the Kingdom Joy-Cons, but, like, remember, for the normal one, it was just gray, right? And black for the top here. But now, it's, you know, with the highlights, they're interesting, right? I just 3080 out of my PC and drop 5090 if I wanted to. Can't do that with a console. Yeah, for real. I can increase the RAM on my PC. I can't on a console. Yeah, like PC is always going to be stronger. So like, why even compare the... See, and this is why Nintendo Switch sold more than PS5. This is exactly why, right? Because the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo was smart. They said, we're not going to go for power. We're going to go for something new, something unique, right? They took what very little was interesting about the Wii U, right? You could play off the gamepad without the TV. You know, you could play games on your gamepad, right? They took a very rough idea of that and expanded it into just being fully portable, right? And it's actually an experience, right? The experiences of being able to play wherever you want with friends pretty easily, that's great. And they're expanding that, right? They're making the playability a lot better on the Joy-Cons as well. And I respect that a lot. You could play Super Smash Brothers semi-competitively on the Switch pad. Like, hello? Actual black Joy-Con on the dev kits, I see. So the Switch is on its emo phase. I don't think so. I think it just looks really good. Mario Paint 2 at launch with mouse controls? Yo. I honestly wonder if Nintendo will ever not make a hybrid handheld console like Switch. It's such a perfect idea. I don't see them dropping handhelds. Making separate handhelds doesn't make sense. I agree, Turt. I've always said the same thing. I think it was the most genius idea for them to do for the Switch. Again, there's a reason why it's the third most sold video game console. It's genius. It is a genius idea. Granted, you know, maybe they could have released this earlier, but whatever. I'm glad it's here. Am I saying mouse is on launch? Please. Every future console might be like this. And I think that's the way to do it. I think that PS5, I would argue PS5 is a worse console overall than the Switch. But obviously, comparing launches, right? Overall, obviously, you know, the PS5 is stronger. Duh. But if I'm talking about overall, considering all the context, the Switch is much more unique, right? It has a lot more going for it, you know? That's why I have so many more games on Switch than I do on PS5. I can't warrant playing my PS5. I can warrant playing my Switch when I'm on the airplane. I can't do that with PS5. That's the point. Why would I even play my PS5 when I have a PC? This is what I'm saying, right? Like when Silence is comparing Switch to PC, the PC is always going to be better in terms of power. Always. So why even talk about that? I'm talking about what makes the Switch unique and why that's what's important about Nintendo. They did need more processing power. They just need enough processing power. And above PS4, even PS4 Pro, when docked, is more than enough power, right? For Nintendo games. Xenoblade will run great. It just will. You know? Nintendo dominated the handheld space. This is what they do now, hybrids. I like Microsoft Surface style kickstand on the OLED. Yeah, I really like the OLED kickstand. Maybe they style kickstand so you could wrap a charger cable through it. Maybe. I can kind of see that. Ooh, also they made the button that makes it able to make the Joy-Cons out bigger. Oh yeah, it's true. They did. Good point, Grease. They made the... And that was another issue of the Switch. Hey, Grease is catching on to what I'm throwing down, bruh. Where is it at? I forgot about that. Hold on. Hold up. You see this? This right here? This is this. Do you see this little mini insignificant button? This is the button you need to click to get off the Joy-Con. If you don't click it, then you can't, you know, You can't take it out, right? Unless you break the rail. But it's a mini button. So when it's in the dock, again, these small issues that they're fixing is so impressive to me. Because they didn't need to do this, but they did, right? It's annoying when you have a Switch and you're playing it a lot. If you gotta go freaking, you want to take out your Joy-Cons to play while it's docked. Granted, nobody really plays with Joy-Cons anymore, but still, right? If you wanted to play with Joy-Cons, happens every now and then, especially if you have friends over. You gotta, okay, it's fine while it's undocked, but while it's in the dock, it's awkward to put your hands in there and take each out. It's not like it's hard, but it's awkward, right? So anything that make it less awkward is great, Nintendo will stick to the handheld hybrid variety, considering only other handhelds are more so portable gaming PCs, most notably the Steam Deck. And I don't even think those are like... See, I don't value those. I really don't. Because they don't have the Nintendo games. Nintendo games are the games I want to play portably because they are good co-op, right? I can play with other people. That's not a thing on the Steam Deck, Not really. Nintendo has iconic energy. Oh, for sure. It's honestly not fair. Like, people keep bringing, the Steam Deck's so much better. It has no battery life. You can't play freaking Mario Party or Mario Kart or Super Smash Bros. On it. So who cares? You know what I mean? Those are the best games to play with other people. I have to go Smash Bros. Joy-Con. That sounds sick. Oh, I have the Smash Bros. Switch Pro controller. Being as strong as a PC, it's about having some power left for the next 8 to 10 years. I just dislike the thought of a console being at its limit from the start. I just hope it proves me wrong. How long ago did the PS5 come out? The reason why I'm comparing to the PS5 is because that's what we should be comparing it to. We should not be comparing power to the PC, which since the dawn of time has been the most powerful. Since the dawn of time. There's no comparison there. The PC is not in contention. We can all agree the PC is the most powerful. Obviously. It should be. Customizable. So obviously I'm going to compare to the PS5. And when comparing to the PS5 barely has any games to actually make use of its power. Whereas Nintendo Switch, despite being very underpowered, has a ton of popular games. Two 10 out of 10 games in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Debatably Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is great. The Splatoon games are beloved. I don't need to tell you about how popular Nintendo games are, right? PS5 right now only have Astrobot. The Switch has a ton of exclusives. Exactly. A ton. A PS4 is pretty powerful if you optimize it well. Yeah, for sure. And again, remember, the leak said on docked, it's PS4 Pro as well. It's not like base PS4 either. It's base PS4 when it's undocked. Which again, that's great, They removed the IR sensor because no games used it. Thank God. Yeah, the IR sensor. I forgot about that. That's on this. But literally nobody used it. I don't even think I've ever used it. Legitimately, ever. Known problems as a basic product development, though. Nothing impressive. I work in that field. Should be basic in all dev fields. I'm just glad that they listened to everything. I legitimately, it looks like they fixed every single small issue. These are small issues, Silence. Keep that in mind. The Switch as a portable console was the best portable console we've ever had. You have to look at it as a view from a portable console. We all know it's not as powerful as a home console, so let's just stop talking about it like that. As a portable console, it was perfect. It was perfect. And the Steam Deck came way later, right? And even then, you could still make the argument the original Switch model is better in some ways. It has way better co-op games. It has It has the ability to just hand over your Joy-Con to a friend and you both play off one screen. It has better battery life, you know? Like, it's not like Power will instantly give you the edge. You have to consider everything. Who needs emulation when your uncle is Nintendo? 2020. Yeah, like you can emulate literally anything. So like, why even talk about Power? The ability to be portable is something that Nintendo's doing unique that you can't really do through emulation. Technically you can, but it's way more awkward and it's not as you know, as fluid. November 12, 2020. You need to tell me how popular Nintendo games are. I've never played a Nintendo game before. I'm a bit confused. What's a Mario? Yeah, for real. My god, I just remembered Sega just announced a new Sonic Racing game. Mario Kart now. I need them to scrap everything and make a new Sonic Riders now. Sonic Riders. Steam that sucks as well, lol. Yeah, exactly. So like, again, you're talking too much. You're comparing too much to a PC is the problem, Silence. It was never supposed to be compared to a PC. Compared to other consoles. And when compared to the PS5, which I also have, by the way, right? I have both. I think the normal Nintendo Switch is a better console overall when considering everything, right? Because power is still worse. Power of the PS5 is still worse than PC. So then the only thing I can go to PS5 for is the exclusives, which it does not have much of. Nintendo Switch, the original Nintendo Switch, still had way more exclusives, you know? Granted, we could see more exclusives on PS5, but we're not going to get that, you know? Like, I mean, we don't have that yet, right? Granted, I mean, hell, look, this is an issue. I guess if I am going to be critical, I wish they showed more games. That actually does worry me, legitimately. What if the new Mario Kart is the only new game that they're releasing on Switch 2? That would suck ass. That would. That being said, obviously you can play your old Switch games. And, you know, if people didn't buy a Switch and they buy a Switch 2, I assume that the entire library of Switch games is still in the eShop, which is good, right? There's a huge backlog. There is a huge backlog of games on Nintendo Switch that they can put on Switch 2, which is great, you know? What new games do you think will be released on Switch 2? Mario Kart 8 2 for sure. You mean Mario Kart 8 3? Y'all are saying Mario Kart 8 2. It's Mario Kart 8 3, bruh. People forgot that it's a Wii U game, bruh. As somebody who actually had a Wii U and liked his Wii U, like, listen, I liked my Wii U, but I can accept that it was a terrible console, alright? I love my Wii U, but goddamn, it was dumb. Yeah, it's a whole Direct. They got games. Switch 2 Direct on April 2. Oh, a whole Direct. They got games. Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd. How close is April? I guess it's not that far away. Not even compare it close to a PC. And the exclusives don't matter at that point. I just say the exclusives could be better with better power. Well, duh. But again, there's no games if you're trying to reach that hyper realism that the PS5 is trying to reach, because people cannot make games like that consistently, you know? I mean, we've seen it, right? Over time, because games are harder to make, they take longer to make, right? Even for Nintendo. And Nintendo has been releasing a lot of games on Switch. They have. Compared to other consoles, they've released way more games than their competitors. They're just, you know, less crazy, right? Tears of the Kingdom was their most recent crazy game. And it was a great game, don't get me wrong, but yeah, obviously comparing it to other high quality games, it's not like extremely crazy, but it's still something. Fine Country Returns HD Deluxe. I love my Wii U, but it's actually completely irrelevant now that 100% of the games have been ported. True. No, Nintendo Land, bruh. Come on, Turt. Nintendo. Okay, Nintendo Land was kind of fire. I actually like Nintendo Land. They announced the direct at the end of the trailer. Oh, was that the direct? I thought that was when the Switch actually is releasing. No, that is when the Switch is releasing. Or is that like here? Oh, I'm so dumb. It says Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2. Listen, don't listen to me, alright? I'll be a little dumb. I be a little dumb, alright? I hyper fixated on the date, and I said, that's when the Switch 2 is coming out. So I said, damn, the Switch 2 is coming out early, man. My bad, alright? My bad. I hyper fixated on the date. It said, I read Nintendo Switch 2. Listen, I'm colorblind, alright? That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm colorblind. I don't see red, alright? I don't see red. So I just read Nintendo Switch 2. It's red on a white background. I don't care. Let me be. You saw gray on white before red on white. Don't worry about it, alright? Stop judging me. This is I'm so glad they even said this. Because if they did not have this, I'd actually consider not even getting the console. I actually would. I don't know. I probably still would, though, admittedly. I'm too much of a Nintendo fan to just ignore the Nintendo console. Like, I can't just not play the new Mario game or whatever, right? But yeah. That Compat months ago. Switch looks like a baby next to it. It does. Also, NSO is going to be on Switch 2. That's great, right? The Nintendo Switch online games, you just play instantly on Switch 2. You announced it in an investors meeting a while back. Oh, really? Well, there you go. Want to see Switch Lite next to it? Oh my god, it's going to be so tiny. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Look at the size difference. Grace is right. The size difference is pretty massive, you know? Hell, I could actually read the numbers here. I can't really on the Switch. That's actually kind of funny. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really tried to think of critiques for it, but there's not really much for me to critique. Unless the power of the console is below PS4, there's not really much for me to critique. You know? I think it's great. I would need to compare this to a portable console, you know? Like, what portable console beats this? And I don't think anything. I think this looks perfect, you know? Obviously, if you were going to give it more processing power, it would need to sacrifice other things, like battery life, or it would take 2+ years to make, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think the DS is more powerful, true. But in terms of like impact when it came out, like the Switch is about as impactful as the original DS, you know? The Switch was genius. It was. It had a different gimmick than dual screens. Like at the time when the DS came out, dual screens was massive, right? Like huge, you know? And touchscreen gaming, you know? When the DS came out, phones weren't like not all phones had touchscreens even, you know? And like, you know, touchscreen games and stuff like that was a DS. DS was really unique with that, you know? Like that kind of took the gaming world by storm. That's why the DS is the second most sold console, right? But you know, yeah. So when the Switch came out and became a hybrid console, it appeals to both an older audience and a younger audience. You could play it portably, you could play it at home, you can play it however you want. That novelty is huge, you know? Real downside, the DS has Pokemon Platinum, the Switch doesn't. Switch is mostly detrimental to TBH. True! So true, Turt. You're so true. Oh my god. The DS has better Pokemon games, so it's a better console overall. Hold on. The Switch probably has more good games than the DS, let's be honest. If you include the entire backlog. But Pokemon games, absolutely. Hold on. Ranking consoles based on their Pokemon games. what a specific list. And the IR sensor is actually there. Right on the right frame. Oh, shoot. I think it is, actually. It's this. That's funny. Switch 1 started to show its age in the latter half of its life. I hope that doesn't happen for Switch 2. I hope not. I hope it doesn't. But I don't think it will. See, the issue with the Switch 1 is that you could actually argue the Switch 1 came out too early. You know what I mean? And they basically had to because the Wii U was so bad. That's why they released it so early and ended the Wii U's life so quickly. You could argue the Switch 1 just came out too early. They did not optimize its power as much as they should have, but they wanted to get a new console out because, you know, they were losing the console wars like infinitely. It was terrible. If they waited another 2 years, the power might have been a little bit more, you know, substantial, right? I don't think it's that the Switch was out too long. I think it's that the Switch came out too early, you know? Granted, you could argue they kind of needed to, so it's fine. But, you know. Like, as a marketing standpoint, it was good. I mean, hell, they sold... Like, they obviously know what they're doing. Third most sold console, so I'm just going to keep saying it. But... yeah. Guy who lived through the DS, Wii U, 3DS, and Switch. I was expecting something more powerful. Yeah, I mean, when you compare the Switch to the 3DS, it is a massive leap in power. It is actually massive. I will never forget when I played Tears of the Kingdom. Like, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon lagged on the 3DS. Keep that in mind. And it still looked a little pixelaty, right? The Switch was insane. Playing Breath of the Wild portably was like, wow, I'm in the next generation of gaming. Like, seriously, I really felt that. I remember experiencing that. Yes, obviously, in home port, you were always able to play more higher fidelity games. But the ability to play portably, I was playing like this, and I said, wow, this is some experience. I was fighting like this monster in Breath of the Wild, and I'm going, damn. Or I was fighting Lynels. Oh my god. I fought like the red main Lynel in Breath of the Wild. Like I attempted that fight like hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but like upwards of 10 times on portable Switch, and I'm like, I'm trying to get used to the fight and everything, and I'm like playing like an actual, you know, like an actual like game. Like that, you know? It wasn't like I'm on my DS and doing like little touch control things, you know? No complaints with the Switch 2 reveal either. It's exactly what I expected. Just needed to know what the power is, but its problem's fine. Yeah, I have no complaints about this reveal. I think it's perfect. There's not much to complain about. I mean, besides maybe the kickstand, but again, maybe this is better than I expect it to be. I would just prefer that they did this. If it works as it is. But I really love this kickstand. It's very customizable. You could do however much you want, you know? Whatever. It's a bit of a nitpick. It's still way better than the original Switch model. Oh my god, the original Switch model kickstand was atrocious. It was atrocious. It was terrible. Oh my god. My kickstand on my original Switch broke like 1 month in, I swear. Taco Bell on Switch 2 release confirmed. Hello. I used the kickstand because it was unusable. It was so bad, yeah. Just take my word for it, Turt. This kickstand's actually really good on the OLED. This is a really good kickstand. It's very sturdy. Like, you could tell just by how I'm moving it, you know? It's not, like, flimsy. Like, it really stays in place. The Switch 1, like, that crap would just fall down. You know? Yeah, they made the kickstand able to be easily snapped on. which is what I have, so it's not that big of an issue, right? It's great. I have no issues. I hope that the power that we've seen in the leaks is accurate. If it is less than PS4, that's where I'm going to start to have a problem. If it reaches PS4, that is more than we need. That is more than we need. And apparently it's PS4 Pro, so that's great. Okay, I won't say a word and wait until I see how it runs, etc. But don't you dare complain once about bad frames. Well, listen, silence. If you're talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I'm gonna complain about Pokemon. Pokemon's different. Pokemon's in a unique case. They just are bad at making newer games, all right? Pokemon is a company that strived on the DS because they were simpler games, all right? And they can throw those craps out. They can't do that on the Switch anymore. That's Pokemon's issue. That's not Nintendo Switch's problem. Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 3, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are all great open world games, and they run good enough, right? It wasn't perfect, right? But it was never something that took me out of the experience, all right? I would never complain about those games and how they run. I never would. Because I don't care as much about stuff like that. It's just the Switch. Again, I don't consider it the Switch's issue, is the thing. I consider it as a Pokemon issue. They optimized it really poorly. Tears of the Kingdom felt unplayable for me. You just like notice that stuff a lot better. So it's after like 10 hours. Hey, 10 hours is pretty long. Hold on. But no, I get it. I care about frame rate in two types of games. I only care about frame rates in platformers and fighting games, personally. Oh, Lamau? Gino said the exact same thing about me. Fighting games and platformers. Yeah, I agree. I think the experience of Tears of the Kingdom, it didn't need perfect frame rate. Not for me. I played the entire game and I loved it. Same with Breath of the Wild. Same with Xenoblade. Same with Xenoblade 2. Well, I didn't play Xenoblade 1 on Switch. I played Xenoblade 2. Mine had bad lags, though. To be fair, I did play Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch OLED. So maybe that made it run better for me. Maybe you were playing off of a base Switch model. I'd be fine with 30 FPS, but that wasn't even 10. That's crazy. It really might just because I'm on OLED. 10 FPS on Tears of the Kingdom? I really don't think I experienced much frame drops at all. I remember one time it chugged the first time I went to the underground. But that's like it. Yeah, action games in general should probably have good FPS too, yeah. Breath of the Wild was fine. Yeah, Breath of the Wild, I was on OG Switch model. I will say right away, Tears of the Kingdom was perfect, for me at least. It was perfect. It actually was. I think, again, besides that one chug, the first time I went to the underground, it ran fluidly the entire game. Yeah, it wasn't 60 FPS, it was like 30. But whatever, right? It's good enough. Nothing that took me out of the experience. I never stopped and said, "Ooh, this is chugging." Never. Not once. So it might be a Switch OLED thing. It really might be. Maybe base Switch doesn't run Tears of the Kingdom as well. So I played Tears of the Kingdom a lot. Started playing Breath of the Wild the day Tears of the Kingdom came out. That's so funny to me. Yeah, I mean, I specifically played Breath of the Wild primarily in handheld mode. And I did not experience anything that took me out of the experience. Same with Tears of the Kingdom. Well, okay, I played Tears of the Kingdom while it was docked and on the OLED, so maybe I had a bit more of a biased experience if that really made it run better. But it really wasn't bad at all. I think Scarlet and Violet was the only game I played that had terrible frame issues. So that's why, maybe I'm biased. That's the only game. If that's the only game that I had an issue with for frames and stuff, I'd consider that more of a Pokemon Company issue than Nintendo, legitimately. You know? I just think Game Freak thought, screw it. We don't need to optimize this. Let's just throw it out there. Scarlet and Violet was like 20 times better. That makes no sense. That actually makes no sense. I don't get it. Tears of the Kingdom was borderline perfect for me. And I literally streamed Scarlet and Violet. I streamed both. Admittedly, I streamed Tears of the Kingdom and Scarlet and Violet. And it was night and day. It was night and day. You could watch both of my VODs. It was night and day. That makes no sense to me. In the state of the game would literally freeze for like 2 seconds. It's rare, but it did happen. Didn't Scarlet and Violet have issues even when emulated? I'm like 99% sure it's the game itself that's unoptimized. It would be on any console. Yeah, I agree. That's what I've been saying this whole time. That being said, it'd obviously still be better on a stronger console, but the issue is Scarlet and Violet at the end of the day. Scarlet and Violet could have been optimized for the Switch just like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were, which ran borderline perfectly. I don't know how you had issues with Tears of the Kingdom Silence. I mean, I streamed it, and I had like borderline no issues. You know, I'm not gonna act like it was perfect, but there was never a moment that took me out of the experience. The only time is that one time where, the first time I went to the underground and then the game kind of chugged for 1 second, but that was like the only time. I bought it because you streamed it, but I had constantly under 10 FPS and stutters. Do you have a base model Switch, Silence? I feel like that's got to be the only issue. Maybe a console problem on my side. Don't know. Yeah, because I mean, if you saw my stream, you must have seen that I had no issues, right? That's cool, by the way, that I caused you to buy a game. That's kind of cool. Makes me feel good inside. A complete base. Because that doesn't make any sense, to me at least. Better battery. Were you playing in handheld? I doubt you would. Because I was playing in dock the whole time. I'm honestly trying to understand how it was so bad for you. 10 FPS Tears of the Kingdom. That does not compute in my brain. Like, consistently? Or are you talking like sometimes it would chug? See, chugging I could understand. Like every now and then, like once every hour, it'll give you a chug. Maybe. I can maybe see you having that issue. But a consistent 10 FPS, that sounds way too unrealistic to me. Didn't matter if I played Dock mode consistently. Manor caused me to buy Persona 5 and now I never play it. Thanks for wasting my money, Manor. What a good friend. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, Persona 5 is a good example, right? Persona 5, well, to be fair, Persona 5 is also kind of like a PS3 game. But still, whatever. Persona 5 Royal, I heard that port was actually pretty good on Switch. It wasn't perfect, but it was good, you know? The ability to play Persona portably, I think that's great. Right? Like, and that's a high quality video game at the end of the day. It doesn't have crazy graphics by any means, but it's still a very high quality video game. So, and having that experience to be portable is just an additional level of play that the Switch can do that other consoles can't do, you know? So, like, why would I would sacrifice a little bit of power for portability. I would. Depending on the game, obviously. 5R MP4 G on Switch, I haven't played them. Speaking of it, go finish Metaphor. I have been playing Metaphor, actually. Yesterday I played Metaphor. I'm on I just did Luis's dungeon. Well, I didn't finish it. I did like the infiltration. But I didn't do like the actual like the soiree or whatever yet. Doom Eternal is on Switch, by the way, and it actually runs pretty good. Like, again, I actually feel like Again, I'm a little biased because I've had only good experiences with the Switch, but Scarlet and Violet, and maybe Legends Arceus a little bit. Where the Legends Arceus I really didn't even have issues with, though. I'm kind of capping. I really think it was just Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Snap HD looked really good, by the way. New Pokemon Snap, I should say. But I don't know. I really just think it's Scarlet and Violet. So that means Scarlet and Violet's an outlier. You know what I mean? Now, factually, I think the power, what really makes the power good is that now more games can come onto the Switch. Because there's some games that are just not realistic to come to the Switch. Hell, Persona 3 Reload didn't even come to the Switch. Granted, I think that game probably could have been fine on Switch, but, you know, they didn't want to spend the extra time optimizing for it. It would have taken more time, which is fair. So now that the console is more powerful, it will take less time for developers to optimize to it because, you know, they have more power to work with, right? So this huge increase in power will instantly make way more games just be easier to develop for the console. So maybe that's why I'm negative towards it, because I was mad that game's so badly optimized. See, that makes sense, right? See, if you've only had the bad experiences, because, and I will say, even though I thought Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were borderline perfect, obviously they still run worse than something like Mario Wonder, right? Like a very simple game. Or even Mario Odyssey. Like, Mario Odyssey ran great. Hell, you should, I mean, I think if you played Mario Odyssey, that would be very telling, Silence. The gameplay's fluid. It's perfect. I didn't experience any lag at all. It was actually perfect. 60 FPS, I think. Is it 60 FPS? I hope so. Otherwise, it sounds like a dumbass. It feels like 60 FPS. It really does. A solid 60 FPS. Yeah. In portable, too. Like, come on. You know? So yeah, maybe that is honestly what it is. Maybe you just experience, like, you specifically experience the bad games. Granted, I still think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are not bad at all. I really do think it's just Scarlet and Violet. Legend of Arceus ran really good for me. Yeah, I thought so too. I didn't actually think Legends of Arceus had frame issues at all. I thought it just, like, had bad textures and, like, looked kind of ugly. You know? I really don't think it ran bad at all. Up on Xenoblade, my guy. The devs of Xenoblade worked on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Massively open world RPGs and run beautifully. You probably would like Xenoblade, by the way. Silence. I think you would, since you already like JRPGs anyway. It's great, solid 60 FPS. They actually did something for Odyssey to keep it at 60 FPS. When the system is overloaded, they drop the resolution instead of the frame rate, which is smart, right? Depending on the game. That's how you optimize a game. You know, you make decisions like that. They didn't do that for Scarlet and Violet. You know? So, yes, it's Scarlet and Violet's issue, not the Switch's. Yes, I'm sure it would still be better on a more powerful console, but it would still also be terrible. I probably like it, but I got too much to play and too less time. Yeah, that's fair. Stop the Path of Exile grind. But yeah. I guess that'll be it for right now. We'll start the stream there. I'm satisfied. It was fun talking about the Switch, though. I had a good time. Just, like, debating and, you know. Y'all know I love to debate. When is Terraria? It's going to be in 2 hours, I think. Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. My only nitpick is the kickstand. And even then, like, I don't know where the hell this thing is. Like, look at this. There's a little, like, thing here. Wait, is that huge? There's like a little thing. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop, whatever. I think it looks great. I really do. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the Direct. You know damn well I'm going to be reacting to this whenever it comes out, this Direct. Not the Nintendo Switch 2, the Nintendo Direct. But yeah. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'll see y'all in like 2 hours. I need to take work off that day. Oh shoot, I might need to too. Well, it depends on what time. I might not need to. You should watch my reaction stream to it. Hell, look, we'll get a look at Mario Odyssey, bruh. Granted, this is just a trailer, but like Mario Odyssey ran so good, bruh. It was perfect. It was perfect. I did not experience a single frame drop in Mario Odyssey. Because I would have noticed it, alright? In a platformer, you notice that crap. If I died to bad frames, I would know, alright? Like, come on, dog. This is on base Switch. Like, this game just ran great. You know, this is an early Switch game. Everything was just fluid. I really don't even think there's much to say. I really think, like, the Switch hate is a bit overhated, you know? I mean, is a bit overblown. It's only very few games that run really badly on the Switch. The biggest problem is that games can't be released on Switch because there's not enough power. It's not that the games on Switch run bad. Because, I mean, well, they do. Compared to other consoles, yes. But the sacrifice in power is not that extreme that it's unplayable most of the time. Scarlet and Violet, you could argue, is unplayable. I don't know what happened with Silence of Tears of the Kingdom, though, so maybe I'm just capping. Again, I did play on OLED, so maybe that carried. I don't know. Yeah, great game. I would love an Odyssey, too. I really would. But yeah, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will see y'all. God, 2017? The Switch came out 2017? Or no, maybe this trailer came out 2017. And the Switch came out early 2018. That might be a thing. Yeah. Anyway. Have a great night, everybody. Later, Manners.